Hello guys, welcome to another video. So basically this is going to be the week 3 of the Shadow Fighters Draft League. We are up against a Sand team, so I'm just going to go over the team real quick. We got Tyranitar, Mega Gardevoir, Infernape, Tangrowth, Frogadier, I believe it's called Frogadier, Crobat, Excadrill, Miltank, Mismagius, and then Pineco and Lopunny. So we're just gonna go and explain the team. So just a few things first. They're quite physically offensive. Their main threats are Tyranitar, Infernape, and Excadrill in my opinion, and of course Mega Gardevoir is over there, but generally very physically heavy. And of course Tangrowth can also be physically offensive as well. And Crobat, I guess, and Miltank, I guess. Yeah, their special attackers are a special Infernape, for example, Mega Gardevoir, of course, Frogadier, and Mismagius. So not as threatening, apart from, the giant Mega Gardevoir that's right there, but I think we have the stuff to handle it, so we're just going to go over the team real quick. So we're starting off here with Twilight Crescent, the Tentacruel making its debut, with Scald, Sludge Bomb, Rapid Spin, and Toxic Spikes. Scald and Sludge Bomb have 0 switch-ins on his team. The thing that probably takes it best is Miltank and maybe Frogadier. And I don't think they're going to come, first of all, because I have a Gallade and a Weavile to deal with Miltank, and Frogadier is just Frogadier. So Scald and Sludge Bomb are pretty free, spreading lots of chip damage with Scalds and Poisons. We're all going to be taking chip because of Sandstorm, but I think we can make them chip more. And that partially, to partially contribute to that, we're going to have Toxic Spikes. Toxic Spikes are going to be really good this game because my opponent does not have a Grounded Poison. So Toxic Spikes are pretty free. Their only removal options are Excadrill and Crobat, which, while I do think they will come, Excadrill probably wants to be killing things rather than spinning. And we do have ways to punish Excadrill, as you'll see, as well as Crobat. While it can defog quite nicely, I don't think I will be able to let it. I think I have things that will stop it from defogging too much. And bringing in Crobat on rocks, for example, is always good because there's no heavy-duty boots. Max speed for speed tying with Mega Gardevoir in case they want to go modest, and because they see that my next fastest thing is Gligar at 85, and they can probably, if they don't want to speed tie Tentacruel, then they probably think, oh, I can go modest, then that just gives me a free Sludge Bomb onto Gardevoir, which is really good, and a potential poison. So yeah, max speed, max HP to take on, I believe I take a Psychic from Mega Gardevoir, not a Psy Shock because my defense is quite low, but we'll see what they decide to bring. Yeah. Next up we got Elfilin, the Gligar. Roost, U-Turn, Stealth Rocks, Earthquake. Pretty standard set, not Defog. Defog requires me... So it turns out Defog can only be ran if I run non-hidden ability. So I can only run Immunity if I'm not using Defog. And so I thought, while I didn't want to run Defog on Elfilin anyway, that's worth noting in the future, this thing's going to take on any Tyranitar and any Excadrill, with the exception of a special Tyranitar. So with Ice Beam. I'm going to take a decent chunk with that. This thing can just switch in on Excadrill and Tyranitar, eat their hits, and threaten them back with Earthquakes. Special investment, I believe it might be for... I honestly don't remember, but I'm sure it's important, because I made it a few weeks ago, like a week ago. Probably like a Hyper Voice or something. Yeah, Earthquakes are pretty decently strong into Tyranitar and Excadrill, so I can pretty much shut down their main offense, as well as Infernape, which is pretty good, and Roost for longevity. Yeah, pretty decent pivot. Next up we got Pendragon, the Gallade Mega. Close Combat, Poison Jab, Zen Headbutt, and Shadow Sneak. Mostly this thing's going to be clicking Close Combat and Zen Headbutt. Close Combat is free into everything except Crobat and Mega Gardevoir. Mega Gardevoir gets punished by Poison Jab, and Golbat gets punished by Zen Headbutt. That's basically it. Simple as that. And Shadow Sneak is for priority in case, something's very low. Next up we got Galvantula. Max speed, max special attack, we got Choice Scarf to speed tie with a Scarf Infernape. Bug Buzz, Sticky Webs, Hidden Power Water, and Thunder. I initially wanted Hidden Power Fighting because it hit a lot of stuff really well, but I realized that meant that I would have to have a 30 IV speed, which would have defeated the purpose of, speed tying Infernape. So I had to run HP Water, which is fine. Hits basically the same stuff I wanted in Tyranitar and Excadrill, as well as Infernape, which is pretty nice. I just didn't want to get walled by... I didn't want to bring in Excadrill every time I came in. I doubt he brings in Excadrill on Galvantula, but he could. Bug Buzz, Sticky Web, Hidden Power Water, Thunder. Thunder hits a lot of stuff really well, and the stuff it doesn't, Bug Buzz hits really well. And if it doesn't as well, then it's a Excadrill, which Hidden Power Water hits. But mainly this is here for Sticky Webs. We'll see why in a second. Sticky Webs are pretty decent against Excadrill. Next up, we got Gastrodon East with... Slugterra the Gastrodon with Earthquake, Ice Beam, Recover, and Yawn. Earthquake is... and with Sand Force ability, with the Rocky Helmet, max defense. This thing can switch into Tyranitar as well, but more reliably, because if it's Special T-Tar, then it can also take those hits, unlike Gligar, so this is probably going to be our primary Tyranitar switch-in. And Gligar is probably going to be our primary Excadrill switch-in, until we find out about their sets. Ice Beam hits Tangrowth, it hits Crobat, and then Earthquake hits everything else. Simple as that. Sand Force is really good here because I don't really need a water immunity because the only water type is Frogadier, and I also don't need Sticky Hold because his only knockoff user is Tangrowth, which I'm not staying in on anyway. So Sand Force it is. A slightly stronger Earthquake, so why not? And Yawn is pretty nice to punish a defogging Crobat, or whatever wants to come in on me, a Calm Mind setting up Gardevoir, a Dragon Dancing Tyranitar, basically any kind of setup. So pretty decent. Of course, it only works if Toxic Spikes are not on the field, because otherwise everything's Toxic Spiked except for Excadrill. But I feel like we're going to be throwing hazards on and getting them removed a lot in the game, so we'll see how useful it can be. I think it will still be it'll be pretty good anyway. Oh, I just deleted it. Well, I'm gonna have to fix that in a second. Lastly, we got Heatran. Metal Phase the Heatran with Flame Charge, Flash Cannon, Earth Power, and Endure. Very interesting set with a weakness policy and nearly max special attack, max speed. We have just enough special defense so that we live a Mega Gardevoir's Timid Focus Blast most of the time. And the reason it's most of the time is because I wanted some EVs left into special attack so that a +2 Flash Cannon, almost always, I'm talking like 90-something% chance, OHKOs a Tyranitar from full after Sandstorm. After Sandstorm's Bidef boost. Basically, this is going to be kind of a breaker, not really a sweeper, but it can sweep if it wants, but in practice I've seen it more like putting in a lot of work. This can set up in front of a Mega Gardevoir, click Flame Charge on anything that comes in, and from there I can either, and from there I'm faster than everything that isn't Scarfed. So pretty useful to have. I probably want to get rid of Scarf Infernape first, if that is there, but if webs are up, I outspeed a Sands Rush, Webs, Excadrill after one Flame Charge. So after one Flame Charge, I outspeeds a Excadrill under Sand, but only if webs are up. If webs are not up, I still outspeed it. Oh wow. Okay, my roommates are really loud. Sorry guys. Yeah. So after +1 speed, and Excadrill with -1 speed in Sand, is outsped. Basically that's it. I also outspeed everything else that is not boosted, and Scarf Infernape is pretty easy to play around, so if I get stopped by that, then that's pretty easy to get as well. But it's also actually not that hard to get 2 Flame Charges, so it's not the worst in the world. This can basically guarantee kill the Gardevoir and kill the Tyranitar in practice, because they're going to want to set the Sand to try and get Excadrill to outspeed, so they bring in T-Tar, they either take a massive chunk or just instantly die. So that is the plan. Hopefully it works out. So yeah, as I said, I'm gonna have to fix this Gastrodon set because for some reason it disappeared. But yeah, that's gonna be the team. I'm actually gonna battle this in like a week from now, so this is once again just an explanation, and maybe I'll look back on it to tell myself why this is all built the way it is. But yeah, we'll see you guys at the battle next week. So we're in the battle. As you can hear, there's the worrying because I'm processing another video and I don't have much time, because OBS and Final Cut Pro and Google Chrome are all trying to fight for my RAM, so yep, that's what you get. That's alright though. We're up against this, so Gardevoir, Infernape. So yeah, Miltank and Frogadier come. Tyranitar doesn't come at all, so it means no sand. Very smart play on my opponent's part because I built completely around sand, and I feel like this was probably the best play to not go sand. And honestly, I completely forgot to try and consider that when building, so we're gonna see how the battle goes. Miltank is pretty annoying because if it's bulky enough, it can actually take a +2 Heatran's Flash Cannon, and it just takes a lot of hits in general. So we start the battle. We lead off here with Tentacruel on the Miltank, as I go for T-Spikes because I think that's pretty free, as he goes for Stealth Rocks. I go for a Sludge Bomb here, which I just felt like it couldn't do much to me. Seismic Toss is probably his move, so I just thought it was fine. But he does reveal Earthquake, which does 50% to me. I feel like this was a big throw on my part, because honestly I had no reason to stay in on Miltank here. Obviously I was trying to go for a Poison, but Heal Bell would have just come out, and I don't know what I would have benefited from that. Yeah, so not really the best play on my part. I definitely wanted health on Tentacruel, so preserving that was probably pretty important. And another thing I could have just done was clicked Rapid Spin. I completely forgot I had Rapid Spin, I'm gonna be honest, on this set. So yeah, that was a bit of a mistake on my part. I go into Gastrodon, trying to take another one. As he goes into Excadrill, this is actually a really good switch in for me. He switches into Frogadier. I was gonna go for an Earthquake, but I thought he was gonna go into Tangrowth, so I went for Ice Beam. As I go for an Ice Beam, as you can see, Earthquake was probably better there. Based on how he was playing, I don't think he was gonna go into Tangrowth, because I mean it's pretty obvious I would have Ice Beam. Earthquake was probably just the safest play because it hits everything pretty decently well, and Tangrowth was always walled by either Tentacruel or either by Tentacruel or I guess Galvantula. We switch into Tentacruel once again as he goes for a U-turn, dealing massive chip to Tentacruel. It's really low now, so that's really scary. I decide to go for a Scald here, as he reveals Rapid Spin. And honestly, I completely missed this, but he Rapid Spun faster than me, which reveals he was Scarfed, but I completely missed this during the game, and I forgot that he was Scarfed, honestly. I go for Scald here and miss the burn, which is quite unfortunate. I feel like he would have killed me with Earthquake anyway, but yeah, I honestly don't know what I was thinking at this point in the game. Number one, I didn't Rapid Spin. Number two, I didn't even notice the Scarf. So yeah, this game is going great for me. I go into Gligar because to take the Excadrill, but I decide to stay in on the Gardevoir Mega Hyper Voice. When I honestly, I could have gone into Tentacruel. I think I could have. Yeah, I didn't really have a good play here because my answers to Gardevoirs are kind of chipped, and I didn't really have a hard answer to Gardevoir because I needed to preserve health on Heatran for the big thing. So yeah, I don't know what I was doing, to be honest, at this point. I took a lot of health on Gligar for nothing, really. As I got Rocks up and Hyper Voice comes out, once again, killing Alphaland. That damage revealed to me that it was modest, which made me very happy to just come in and click Sludge Bomb, but honestly, I could have just gone into Gallade here. I didn't need to sacrifice Tentacruel here. Poison Jab always killed. So, yeah, that was a bad play on my part. I decide to go into Gallade finally. Pendragon comes in and goes for a Poison Jab, which is doing really good damage here. Doesn't poison again, and Close Combat does more damage here, so I'm going for that. As he goes for Giga Drain. Close Combat that always kills after another one, so I just decide to go for that. But now there's big chip on my Pendragon, and also I'm now -2. I decide to just stay in and click Close Combat. I'm thinking that I'm in a pretty decent position actually, and considering how he thought for so long here, because he actually did think for a little bit. I was thinking that Infernape wasn't Scarfed, because if it was Scarfed, he would have just gone straight into it. But now he goes into Excadrill, and here is where the mistake of not realizing that it was Scarfed is a big problem. So I just stay in, thinking that he wasn't Scarfed, and he just Earthquakes. Could have sacrificed Galvantula there, could have went into Gastron there. There was a bunch of things I could have done to stay in the game, but now it's kind of over because I have no offense anymore, apart from Heatran, which cannot sweep in this stage. Hidden Power Water does kill the Excadrill, and now I'm just trying to wait for Miltank to kill me, so that I can try and do some damage by proccing Weakness Policy on the Earthquake on Miltank, because I calculated it and I live, so I just spam Hidden Power waiting to die. Just trying to hope to... yeah, just trying to die. Now I die, I go into Heatran, and I know I survived the Earthquake based on damages. Flame Charge comes out, dealing 5%, revealing its Thick That, and now Flash Cannon kills, but now he reveals he has a second Scarf. Honestly, if he didn't have a second Scarf, shoot, that was my video being done. If I had a second Scarf, I actually won there, because Flash Cannon and Earth Power probably killed everything, but, you know, it is how it is. And I decided to throw at the end, not for differential, expecting a switch, just hoping that he threw, but yeah, I could have gotten an extra kill there, but I decided not to, making this a 3-0 instead of a 2-0. Quite unfortunate. I think I was a bit unlucky with like not getting any poisons or burns on Tentacruel, but you know, it's 30% every time. Like you can't bet on it. And I just played really badly, to be honest. I didn't even notice the Scarf Excadrill until too late. And I feel like behind the scenes, I was playing all 4 games in the same day, just like in succession. So my brain wasn't really working at tip-top shape. And yeah, this is the last game of those 4, so you can see how that went. Alright, well that's the games. Thank you very much for watching, and see you guys next week when hopefully I have better performance.